change a setting on using her Gmail account in order to be able to add or have access to it?
So at this point, remember that we're launching a development preview. It's very, very early time. When we do launch it to consumers later in the year, the answer very much will be yes to that question. If you have a Google account on Gmail with Gmail or any other Google product, you will use that same account with Wave. And yes, all you have to do is check a box somewhere and say, I want to use Wave in addition to the other Google products I'm using. Then you're there. And you also have, if you can see down in the lower left, there's a set of contacts there, which is the same set of contacts that you have from inside Gmail.
And I think the second question was related to privacy, right? So, what exactly is the way for controlling access to the content on Wave? Does one have to establish those people that one wants to share with, or do her contacts automatically have access to everything she has in Wave?
So the way you share Waves is we say you add another person to a Wave, and so you have to make a conscious decision, case by case, of who you want to share each Wave with. And so you saw in this example here, I started out a Wave, and I was the only one who had access to the Wave that I started. Then I wrote some content, and then I gave access to Stephanie by adding her to the Wave. You can see who has access to that Wave up on top here with those pictures, which if you click one of those pictures, you'll see more details about who they are. And so you add your contact one at a time, or you can construct groups of contacts so that you can add groups that you tend to communicate a lot with one at a time. That's how you can you can control access to each individual Wave, exactly who you want to have the content.
Okay, great. So the next question was, is this going to be an application that stands on its own, or is it going to be embedded into the Chrome browser? And if it's not, will other programmers have to create extensions to integrate and enable Wave for their different browsers?
So I should just make sure it's clear that Google Wave is a website. It's a web application that runs in any browser you want. You can run it in Chrome, you can run it in Firefox, you can run it in Safari, you can run it in, not quite yet, but it will, Opera. We're working very hard to make it available in Internet Explorer as well. So it's not, Google Wave is not an application, it's a website.
My question is very simple, actually a request. Could we get access like you gave the developers this morning? It's not that many people in here.
No, we are going to limit access right now to those developers. And I want to make it absolutely clear, these are very, very early days. We have a lot of work still to do with stability and scalability and so on. And it's also for us that what happens when we give early access, in this case to developers, is we get an incredible amount of feedback, which is wonderful, but we can only handle so much of it. And the way we intend to proceed here is to take in all that feedback, respond to it, and then give access to more people and hopefully get new feedback and so on. And then sometime later in the year, we'll launch it for real. And so not right now.
And one more question, I think.
Actually, can I just say one more thing? If you go to wave.google.com, which is live maybe now, maybe a little later, I don't know if you guys want to check wave.google.com. If you go to wave.google.com, you can leave your email address there and sign up to be notified. If you click a little deeper over on the lower right side of that page, you can click it. If you want to learn more about opportunities for development, you can sign up for that too, which might get you an account earlier.
We have
another question.
We have 2 more questions, guys. Thanks for, I know we're going a little over, but thanks for being here. Oh no, I guess we have some time. So the next question was, is it possible to use Google Voice and video while participating or engaging in conversation on the wave?
So currently we have not done that integration, but it's something that we hope we'll be able to do later. It's like I said, it's still very early days. We have a lot of work to do to make it stable, make it scale, and respond to whatever feedback we get now. But it seems there's a very nice opportunity here, in particular when you're working on a piece of content together, that you can also talk to each other over a Google Talk connection, or even a video conferencing connection.
Another interesting question is on the screens itself, on the wave itself, it's not clear what area of that application would be available for advertising. Do we have any thoughts about that? About what might be where we might locate announcements or advertisements?
So we haven't actually put a lot of thought into that yet. I think it's quite a luxury we have at Google that we get to focus exclusively on the technology and exclusively on making our users happy in the early days, and we don't worry too much about money in the beginning. And this was actually the same with Google Maps when we launched it back in 2005. We didn't start worrying about making money from it until I think it was a year and a half after we launched it. And so those kinds of questions will come later for us.
There's one question about the possible cannibalization of other Google products depending on the level of integration that is established with Wave. So, for example, Gmail or chat or these types of things. Do you have any thoughts about that, or any strategy for integration?
Well, look, I think the key thing to realize is, number one, with Google Wave, these are very, very early days, so it's not clear that we yet have answers to all those questions. But I think that it's very important to realize that Gmail and the other Google apps are tremendously popular products. They're tremendously successful, and millions and millions of users are using them around the world. And we obviously are 100% committed to keeping those users happy and doing the right thing. And you can imagine several things that can happen, very nice integrations between these different products. You could even imagine that some of the technology we've built that is right now inside Google Wave will find its way into those other products to make them richer, livelier, and so on. But it clearly is too soon to know.
Otra pregunta.